And we're back.
Huzzah.
So, your discussion in the war room comes to I guess a natural lull. And yeah, I guess the question from here that is on everybody's lips is, what is the next move?
Well, that's kind of the problem, though, isn't it?
Well, do we sort of just? I guess technically, on our original list of leads, there is still one unexplored option.
Yeah, but like, was that like information on the abyss, or was that?
No, that was my original list, which was the things that Tritherion told us about.
Yeah, which was to do with the
just-
abyss.
There was just information
Oh, no,
on the
yeah,
abyss.
it was. True.
So even
Okay,
though
yeah.
there might be more helpful information, I think we've basically got it covered with these gems. Like if we can replicate it.
Yeah, that's assuming we even need to go to the abyss.
Yes, because that was kind of the point I wanted to bring up as well. Like we've got all this prep.
We've prepared for our last. We've done all of this research and preparation for our last ditch option.
But I guess the problem was we didn't really have anything else at the time.
No, yeah. Well, I guess that's the point. We wanted to do that and make sure that was ready.
Yes, but
and then
like,
we're going to look for other
so
options.
what we're gonna do is we need to figure out where how about not Simone. I keep forgetting her name. I can't for some reason. I'm like trying so hard.
Who?
It's elf friend.
Simone.
Oh, it was Simone.
Yeah.
Now I thought Simone was okay. It's fine. But yeah, we need to get someone out to speak to Simone. Because that's a lead. We can go to Cindershell if we want. However, I'm not sure how much we'll actually gain from that.
Where is Cindershell?
Let me show you.
Is that the one all the way down south?
It is, yes.
Oh, okay, that is a long ass way.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Huh.
but
Way
it's
down there.
also like
Cindershell Landing.
that's like a pretty solid. Well, I say solid lead, but like that's a very
Like, there's definitely a
big situation to address there.
yes, because they're definitely recruiting there, which.
Oh, is that where they openly worship? Is that
Yeah,
where
that's
they
where
openly worship Tharizdun?
Yes. It's because they allow any and all religions there, including stuff like Tharizdun, apparently. Unfortunately, you haven't been down there, so it's gonna take a while to get down there. Isn't it?
Well, the quickest route is probably the same way you guys got to Mardan. Going west to Casport and seeing if there's a ship that's going down that way.
Plus, well, if we stop by, then I guess if you learn what's it called, where Lars's hometown is, and if she ever wants to go back, you can lend her a hand. Might not hurt.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yes, family. Her family. You can visit her family.
No. I realize now that you were implying that I would be able to teleport her there.
Yes, that was what I was implying. Cool. So I'm kind of thinking, but like I feel like Cindershell might be one of our better options.
It's definitely something, though.
Like honestly, like I don't think there's anything that we can ask Sodani that we couldn't, or Simone, that we couldn't achieve, like outside of a letter or send message.
was going to say, there's a lot we could just do in person that'd be way better than sending. 25 words is not a lot.
No, but like what I'm thinking is we just ask if she could like send us a send us a letter or something along those lines.
Oh, you're suggesting that we just message her and say, hey, we need
Would you
your
be
help.
willing to give us some information on the like on the drow houses, or send us a letter about the information with the drow houses, or something or something along those lines?
Yeah. Well, I suppose also the question would be willing or able to do so.
Yeah, because she has been out for quite some time,
Yeah.
and
And they did try to kill her.
yes, but that doesn't change that she knows things. But I think all the information she knows might be a little outdated. Although we can, you know what? I think what we do is we'll send her a letter and then we'll get a response. I think that will be better. 25 words is just too much to cram to.
Yeah. I would. Something to point out though. I think if we do go to Cindershale, we'd have to be a bit more subtle.
How so?
Well, I don't know if it's obviously a city where they allow it all. We're not exactly going to get off with our usual thing of like, hey, we actually, helped.
Well, we won't have many allies, probably, but
Yeah, exactly.
like it's like, for example, it's not like we're going to be able to hide your blue skin, Kelariis' dragon-born nature, my size. We're going to stand out regardless of what we do.
Well, yeah, we're going to stand out, but I just mean like.
Well, I guess, although that would be a long ass journey, I was like, it could be an assignment for a spy. Like, we know they're established there,
Yeah, that's what I was.
so there will be
thinking.
information.
We want to, we'd want to set up contacts there.
But I guess that is also a reason not to have a spy, because we already know they're there, and so we can actually go do something.
I
think
don't-
that
well,
it's worth us going down there ourselves if we want to if we can make that time commitment.
Well, yeah, like what I'm saying is us going down there would be a subtle information gathering thing.
Subtle.
We would be,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, we'll see how we deal with things once we get there.
If we go there.
Well, I think everybody's kind of agreed that we should probably go there.
Yeah.
Any objections? Nope. So I guess that will be our next move.
Well, what's the most efficient way to even get there? Because obviously it's not on the coast. I'm assuming there's other places near there.
Oh, I think we might be
Coastal.
riding down the coast anyway.
Well, yeah, we're riding down the coast, but I guess what I'm wondering is how close can we get?
We'll figure those details out. Then there's one other thing. Our new spy friend. Do we want to send her out immediately, or do we want to use her as a spy recruiter, perhaps?
Well,
Although I think she might be
yeah.
more suited for actual spying.
Well, yeah, she probably has more of actual spy work, but I don't think that stops her from knowing what is required to set up a network.
No, probably not. But being a spy and managing spies are two different things, I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah.
Oh well, but like, where would we want our first source of information? Or first, because I'm always a little concerned that, spy might be looked upon in a negative light. However, we could just say she should limit herself to legal spying, if that's a thing.
I think legal spying. Well, that's not true. There is legal spying, but not in this day and age.
Yeah, like there's ways you can obtain information without breaking any rules or laws.
Yeah.
It's just a question of whether they will actually allow it if they find you doing it for that kind of purpose.
Well, I guess it should be more of a researcher in that case.
Even
wouldn't she?
answer to, like, who is in charge of us?
Well,
Yeah, this is exactly the problem I brought up earlier. We have no system of rank and who answers
like,
to who.
honest, like, I would say, like, I would happily have her answer to me, but the problem is I'm not going to be reliable, as
Yeah.
in I'm not going
Well-
to be there all the time. So,
Maybe...
No, I meant like us as an organization. Who do we?
oh,
Who is in charge of us?
I guess on paper I am.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
What do you
Who
mean?
is in charge of the organization in terms of a larger worldview?
Oh,
Well, I
like
suppose
whose
technically
jurisdiction
we
are
own...
we in?
Yeah, I suppose technically we own land in the whatever local human king / lord reckons he rules over the territory that happens to include Ivywood Market.
So that's the interesting and slightly dubious part. Is Ivywood Market exists in essentially what is known as like what was known as the distinction that was the Western Kingdoms, but the Western Kingdoms technically doesn't exist anymore, mainly because the Western Kingdoms were part of the faction that essentially when the king died with no heirs and there was a civil war and basically humanity just went fuck it, just grab whatever you can, the Western Kingdoms sort of split into what is now the current coast, which is ruled from Mountain Shade, and then there was what was the land surrounding Casport, which was subsequently invaded by the Dragonborn, and you now kind of live in a bit that is ruled by a series of basically like dukedoms, and
Yeah. local lords.
yeah, like who owns what in the bit that you're currently in is debatable, because as soon as you basically like get as far as like beyond Rosenlot in towards Trapper's Crossing, you'll get that's like the King of Helm's blessing, and then it's like the northern part, which is the dwarven territory from Hearth, and then Ardenstaff for the
It's
gnomes, and
It feels like it's basically whomever has the guts to claim it.
yeah.
Basically.
Um,
And because it's not us.
but nobody has come for us, so
Yeah.
as in or told us off. So I guess we're good.
So yeah, to answer your question, Luka, it's whichever local lord has the balls to claim Ivywood Market as their domain.
Which, just putting it out there, could be you guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
it could
but
be
I feel
us,
like
but we
as-
don't have the balls.
as soon as you claim lordship, that brings a lot of
Yeah.
responsibilities.
Also, yeah, we very much do not have the balls for that yet because traditionally, to claim lordship like that, you need something called an army to back you up.
Well,
Also,
You know, you say I'm a lord, and people say you and what army?
well, also, I won't speak for everybody else, but Kelariis is not here to be part of a lordship of any sort.
no. Well, if we were to do it, I do not. It would probably not be the traditional, we title the villages kind of thing or whatever.
Well,
It would
I
be
suppose,
more along the lines of,
I
like,
suppose
we
we could
claim,
claim the
like,
land, but not be like lords. We could just.
we would be more of along the
God,
along
it's
the
really
lines of
complicated, isn't
we're
it?
Ivywood Market's ally, and if you mess with them, you mess with us.
Yeah. We're just
Although
like an
that-
independent, neutral organization that has sway.
To be
Look,
honest,
let's not get into politics right now.
yeah, that's fair. We'll
That's the
figure that
job
out.
for whatever diplomat we choose to hire
Yes. I mean,
when we get around to that.
the fact that you are a rather large power in a somewhat temperamental region has been cemented today by the fact that basically a small army contingent showed up on your doorstep to sort matters out. So,
Yeah, to organize a formal transition of prisoners.
That's why I was asking, because I'm like,
Yeah.
people are gonna start something.
Yeah.
I guess this is also partly why I'm so scared of leaving.
Well, I think we have some. Well, we have our defenses for now, and if we leave, Vondal will be like help, and you'll be like poof, we're there.
I guess.
Wow, what a
But also,
way.
like,
But that like all
this is
this
the problem. Like, I'm doubtful we have the skills that are needed for what we need to do in Cindershell Landing. But at the same time, what else do we do?
Did we have the skills for any of the things that we were doing?
No.
Let's be
Maybe it's
honest.
about time we actually. Yeah, but you know, Elizabeth's
Look,
trying not
we're-
to jump into situations she's not prepared for anymore, so that's why I'm having doubts.
You know what? We're going, but there is one thing I realized. You know where we should have a spy? Castport. Because it's a big hub. It's that like basically anything that comes from down south will go through Castport.
Yeah, no, you're not. That's actually a really good idea.
Like, you know, what better
Someone
place
to
than
gather
that?
information and keep an eye on Castport is actually an excellent idea.
And we already know that like there was this, you know, this ship with gunpowder. Like you know, like, that's a little weird. So there's definitely stuff to be discovered there.
Yeah, because it's well, obviously it's a major trade hub. People go there not only from further down the Scale coast, but also from up along the Curran coast. And anyone who wants to trade with those places from the east probably goes through it.
Well, I guess so. We've got that sorted. I guess we can bring her along as we, because
Well-
I guess we're going to have to head there.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like we should actually, you know, talk to her and get more of an idea
Yes, that could,
of what her skill set is. Because, you know, I didn't have a lot of time to actually do that. She just said,
yes,
she basically just told me, I'm a spy.
yeah.
FYI, I am a spy.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll take.
in fact, I'm pretty sure she literally said, FYI, I'm a spy, but let's not get into that right now because we're in trouble. Just because we need to know what each other was good at.
Yes. Okay, but like, I'm just trying to like give us like the grand picture of things so we can get things going a little. We've just been standing here talking for
Yep.
the entire time.
We need to have
That's
more
pretty normal for our group, to be fair.
Yeah.
True,
Basically,
but like that's
yeah.
like I'm trying to push things through so we can like
Yeah.
actually do something.
Yeah. Basically, we need to have more of a talk with her, but assuming she is willing to work for us and, you know, is not someone who would be comfortable running a spy, or like a full spy network from here, we send her to Castport to gather information.
Yeah, something along those lines.
I suppose though we'd also have to, like, you know, establish what information we want from her. Like, do we want to just find anything of note? If so, what's of note?
Look, those minor things we'll figure out. That's like I assume she has some sense of what is value and what is junk.
Yeah,
she's done it before, and she was looking for a job.
Yeah, because I don't know if I still think that if she is the kind of person who can organize a spy network, we should definitely take her up on that.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. Yes. I guess if we have, like, is there anything else we need figured out? Like, well, the details of the spy thing, and then I guess I still need to tell the group about their coming mission and tell them about the Dread Legion. Anything else that anybody needs done? Guess not. So I guess we prepare for Cindershell Landing.
Okay.
So we're already off to a great start when none of us can say the name.
Shindershire. No.
And it
On the
somehow
ship.
gets worse.
It's Cindershell Landing.
Shindershell Landing, see?
Oh.
Huh.
A book fell on my head the other day. I could only blame myself.
No. Oh, I assume like none of the I assume nobody has any comments on the fact that like when I mentioned the Dread Legion, by the way, to the
Oh, so
Right.
you brief your squad on the Dread Legion.
Like presumably after everyone else is like, you know, like going, like calling it for the night,
yes.
like gathering together.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you gather your squad together. You sort of relay off your history with the Red Legion and your oppositions against them. They sort of sit in and listen. Like Saber's like sort of sitting there, just like oiling his crossbow, listening to you talk. The rest of them are just sort of like sitting there. And you sort of like finish and just sort of go, "Anybody have any questions?" And they just sort of like look at you, and there don't seem to be any objections. Saber's like sort of finishes his crossbow and says, "Cultists, you say?"
Yes. Quite fanatical cultists.
Not really a fan of cultists.
You know what? I
Same.
think I agree with that one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page with that.
Good. Well, if that is it. Well, if you have any concerns, be sure to let us know because we will be heading off soon. And well, I guess you can always, if there's something urgent, Fanal can always reach us. Also, well, I assume I also informed them of their goal
Yeah,
on Helm
yeah.
Blessing.
You
I'm
brief
not
them
gonna-
of their mission and the procedures.
Yeah, I assume that we'll just pass that off.
Also, if you need your wizard to know sending, we need to deduct 150 gold, and she needs to spend 6 hours with Elizabeth.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, we'll just deduct the gold. There we go.
Yeah.
150, right?
Yeah, you teach Riala how to cast sending.
Cool.
I suppose if you're going to spend 6 hours with Riala, you will learn some things about Riala.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is almost everything that she says. She deliberately phrases it in a way to have a double meaning. She is.
Oh, okay.
She's one of those people who is constantly playing a game and wants you to know that.
Okay. Nice.
But she seems pleasant enough, if a little unusual. Her manners are very formal.
Right.
And she continuously alludes and refers to her uncle, who seems to be not really her uncle, but the mentor that taught her a lot of things, suggested that she learned magic, got her into the place where she learned magic, and gave her a magic sword.
All right. Cool.
Oh yeah, and she probably also takes the like any opportunity available to hint at the fact that her uncle is very interested in the Amber Eagle and the group as in general, and seems to have some sort of history with them, but doesn't seem to reveal what that is.
Interesting.
I was gonna say, yeah, if she does that, Elizabeth is like.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that part. Yeah.
Like low key suspicious.
Like, yeah, if she mentions that, like, there's a chance that they'd know her, they'd know them, know them. Yeah. Then Elizabeth probably would just be like, well, you know, who is he?
She just sort of she sits back and smiles and like sort of seems contented in herself that she's managed to sort of like tease this question out of you.
Oh God.
And she just sort of says, "Oh, Michael's always had an interest in the more adventurous types."
In what way?
Well, they draw his fancy. He likes a good tall tale, particularly if it has beings of otherworldly origin as their he would call it the spice of the story.
And what was she again? She was the
She's an Asimar elf.
okay.
Taught magic by fairies. Well, by the
Yeah.
Fae Court.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. At this point, Elizabeth probably just says, like, "Not very direct, are you?"
She sort of like smiles and plays her fingers over the spell book that she's writing in, and just sort of says, "I don't take much pleasure in revealing all of my secrets." Another thing that both my education and my uncle taught me is that secrets are powerful.
True. True.
And, well, let's just say I've never been one to tell a secret without receiving one in exchange. It's I guess you'd call it insurance policy.
You know, that kind of makes sense. You can very much tell that we learnt from very different places.
She smiles. Indeed. I am interested in hearing more about where you learned things. Learning from books seems very different to the way I was taught.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose I didn't learn entirely from books and writings, though that was a lot of it.
And I didn't learn entirely from just being directly taught, but... well, as you said, very different. Sort of gestures to the writing and says, shall we continue? Or did you have more questions?
No, yeah, you're right. Let's carry on.
Yeah, you finish putting the spell together.
But yeah, and then yeah, when we're done with it, just point out that yeah, feel free to send messages to Vondal or to Grim, or even to myself.
She nods and sort of says, well, if we learn anything interesting, I'll be sure that the commander is the first to know.
Though, if you are going to send things to me, well, I am technically wearing something that's meant to prevent that unless I want it to come through. So you're probably better off telling Vondal or Grim.
She sort of like raises an eyebrow and says, I see. Quagrim did mention you were an abjuration specialist.
Well, what do you specialize in then?
She sort of like waves a hand in the air and sort of says, I'm somewhat of a dabbler, but my specialism is less in specific schools of magic than learning how to weave and unweave things. My specialty is my ability to see through that which is false and undo that which has been done through arcane means.
Well. Well, if the time ever comes to it, then, well, I suppose I look forward to seeing you in action.
She sort of like offers a polite bow. Well, I guess no. Her thing is to curtsy, so she like curtsies a little and sort of says, "And I the same."
Look after my sister, won't you?
She smiles again and says, "From what I've seen, she seems capable of doing that herself."
Well, yeah, of course she is, but everyone gets in over their head sometimes.
I'll be watching her back.
And don't tell her I said that.
She puts a finger to the side of her nose and nods.
Yeah. Elizabeth just smiles and, well, yeah, allows her to leave.
Okay.
Or vice versa, just leaves.
You part ways, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the squad is prepped and ready to go to Helm's Blessing. Which just leaves, I guess, what you want to do with Angelica.
Well, I guess guess we could do it like in a broad sense, where we can have an actual conversation. I guess what's
Well, it depends what you want to know about her, because you still don't know a whole huge amount about her.
yeah, that is true. I
Yeah.
guess we didn't actually ask the most. Yeah, I guess we do need to actually know a little about her. Like spying is kind of a delicate business.
And rather vague.
It's not like our bard friend who's just like, yeah, you can play music, share stories. Like, what's the worst that can happen, right? Maybe
Everything, like, bards
6
bards
hours
in the,
later.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Let's be honest, bards in our universe are fairly easily defined. Spies in any universe are never that easy to define.
Well, I guess we'll have a little sit down with her.
Yeah, you sit down like across the table from her. She sort of like leans on the table and says, "Yeah, I had the feeling this was going to be a thing. So,
Well, I guess there's a few simple questions to begin with. What exactly would you want to be doing? Like, would you like to? Are you focused on a person, location, or would you even be willing to help set up a more elaborate network? What's the kind of thing you're looking to achieve, or would be most interested in as a spy?
yeah." She like leans back in the chair and sort of says, "Huh. I've never had anyone open with that question before."
Well, gotta figure out what you want to do. Kind of work from there.
This place is as much a conglomeration of like-minded individuals as it is, well, a formal organization.
She sort of nods and says, "Well, I've kind of got experience in all sorts of areas, really. I mean, the best way to set up any sort of intelligence gathering network is to get boots on the ground to begin with. You need to know who's in the know with what and where the best places to ask questions are. Very often the people I get to tell me things don't even have... they're not even doing it for the purpose of getting information. Some of them just tell me things because it's interesting and I'm good to talk to. Some of them inevitably go on to take money in exchange for information. It's building a spy network isn't just you don't just go somewhere and set up a bunch of people, install them. People, that would be so suspicious. Generally, the trick is to get in, get to know people, and then know who to ask the right questions to when the time comes.
Okay. Well, as you might be able to tell, I am not too familiar with the spying business, though, so I'll take your word for it.
I suppose the real question is, what exactly is it that you're looking to know? Because, I mean, from looking at this organization, you're not exactly... You're not interested in the kind of things that people that I've worked for in the past have been interested in.
I will admit that. Oh, I guess I might as well just be upfront about it because it's going to be important for you to know. Like, the people we want to know information about are generally less. Well, the reason we think we need the spy network is because they like to stay hidden and try to be subtle in a lot of ways. And so far, like, us tracking them has been very, very rough and based off of wild rumors that occasionally turn out to help us.
Clicks her fingers and says, "You want counterintelligence." That's easy enough.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, it'd be nice to know what they're about to do rather than just following them from action to action.
Well, even just knowing, we'll go into the details in a bit. I guess, like, now kind of having a better idea of what you think we need and what you think you might, and giving a bit of a better picture of what you can do. There are some questions that will need answering because, well, we will need to trust you on quite a few things, of course.
She nods.
There was one kind of, well, I don't know if I would call it a red flag, but because you got yourself into the predicament with Elizabeth here, and I guess the real question is why were you even reading that book? Because the abyss is not something that interests the average person.
She muses to herself for a moment and says, so... I guess the easiest way to explain my interest in Emberon's grimoires is my previous employer was interested in primarily in dimension traveling magic. More accurately, the efforts of expediting long distance planar travel.
Okay.
I was under the impression that Emberon's grimoires might be particularly of interest to them. And actually, thinking about it, I suppose I found out far more than I was ever intending to find out, and in totally the wrong circumstances, and am now probably a year too late for it to be useful to anyone.
well, from what I can tell, it was definitely the right book. Just, well, yeah, some unfortunate side effects. I assume the reason, well, why you haven't even bothered returning to your employers because they probably have presumed you dead or of some kind, or well, I guess not showing up for 1.5 years is, yeah.
Yeah, the chances of them thinking I'm either dead or defected is pretty high. Which, if I'm being brutally honest, is why I'm in a hurry to get a new and more secure position.
Okay.
Obviously, the moment I'm out there doing other things, I'm also putting out feelers to make sure there isn't any ill feeling or potential
I could,
retribution in the pipeline.
I could see how you turning up 1.5 years later might be misinterpreted. Uh, hmm. I guess the question is, because, well, because you're kind of course, you're bound, like, to some, I guess, what would you call it, ethical code? Well, the fact that you're not revealing it is, I guess, already a good sign. Like who your employer was, but and well, as much as I'd like to know, I guess that's not something you'd like to reveal because, well,
I
obvious
just
reasons.
don't think it's relevant.
Do you expect them to be? Well, I guess you're not sure yet, aren't you? I was going to ask you if you expected them to be a problem, but that's yet to be seen.
To you, probably not. Your interest and theirs are fairly far apart from what I can tell.
I guess there's one weird question that I've basically asked everyone. Like, it may seem odd, but do you follow any religion or gods or any general worship?
She sort of like looks taken aback for a moment and sort of says, yeah, that's a unusual question. Not the kind of thing I'm used to being asked in a job interview.
I don't think it will apply to you as much, but it's mainly because, sometimes there can be friction between groups, and I want to get ahead of any potential friction.
Well, I was born under the sign of Avandra, and I've always been, well, at least partially invested in her. I mean, in my line of work, good fortune generally tends to be a good thing.
I don't think that it shouldn't cause any problems, but it's good to know. I think you'll be fine. There's only been one instance where I had to be a little bit careful, but that's fine. Well, I guess in that case, I assume you. Well, yeah, I guess it's clear that you trust her, Elizabeth, but Well, as I said before, well, like, you narrowed it down to counterintelligence as to what we would like you to be doing.
That
So
seems
far,
like what you need.
So far, my best guess as to where to for you to set up initially would be Castboard, but I have no clue. I would let you, like, if you have a better idea, feel free to suggest it. I feel like I should, and I will elaborate a little more because that might give you some ideas. The group that we're trying to keep an eye on are called the Dread Legion. They are a cult, and they worship Ferrous.
She sort of like cocks her head to one side and says, "I've heard of them."
See, the thing is, we know there's one catch to all this, is that we know that they have some tricks up their sleeve, using the Underdark for kinds of things. I don't know if that like helps you in any way. If you were to assist us in this, in
It
tracking them down.
gives me an idea of the kind of people that I'm probably going to be looking for.
But yes. So, like, I'm not going to ask you to get in harm's way, because that feels silly. But considering the people we will be dealing with, some form of danger is inevitable.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Generally, in this line of work, pretty much everything I do makes me want to be stabbed by somebody, so yeah. I'm kind of used to watching my back.
Well, that's good. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any things you want to take care of, or like, well, I guess, like, I assume you agree that Castport might be a good idea, or
I mean, it's a large port town, significant volume of people come and go, there's lots of stories to be told. It's a reasonable start. When you mentioned the Underdark, I assume you have some understanding of what the Underdark actually is.
well, I've been there once, but it was a short trip.
Oh. Sucks to be you, I guess.
Well, I didn't want to be there for much longer. Involved in infiltrating a fortress. It was a mess.
Yeah, no, I've heard stories. It's not a great place. You generally want to spend a large period of time. But yeah, you get the whole gist. It's underground, big network of tunnels, generally fairly hard to keep track of.
Basically, they can pop up anywhere or at any time. It's just the problem is, of course, there are very few access points.
Yeah, so generally, with the Underdark, actual entries and exits in civilization, highly uncommon.
Yes.
I only ever heard of a handful of them in my lifetime. The thing about finding information from that is people tend to... Those who come from the Underdark tend to find specific ways to blend into unsavory organizations within society, because it's very often the only way they can get their hands on certain things from above ground. I've got a couple of ideas of places to start.
Excellent. Well, I guess that sounds excellent. You will, of course, be compensated, and we'll give you a little extra, I guess, fund, because.
Yeah, I was going to get on that, because if you're wanting me to blend into these sort of unsavory things, I'm going to need at least some sort of slush fund, because getting information out of those folks is never cheap.
Well, and we don't want you to have to, I guess you will communicate back sometimes, but we don't want you to have to be relying on repeated. So how much do you think you'll need? How much would you guess you'd need for a slush fund to last you, let's say, a month or maybe more? I don't know what you'd. Yeah, let's say what would be a month-long slush fund be roughly,
For a month.
or yeah, or if you have a better time frame, that will work with that.
Well, if you're wanting to look towards the long term, at somewhere in the region of 80 to 100 gold.
You know what? Well, yes, we can definitely arrange that. Guess we'll give, and we'll add a little on top just to be safe. So yeah, I guess we'll make that 150 a month, and then that should be more than reasonable.
She nods.
Well,
Obviously, I mean, I don't know how you run things around here. Previously, when I've worked with employers, I've kept sort of a, I guess you'd call it a ledger of expenses. I'm assuming you're going to
yes.
want some similar sort of arrangement. Just so you know, I'm not pissing away all your cash.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about it. Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt.
It's probably
Well,
a
like,
good idea.
yeah, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? I was just thinking if it might get us into any trouble, but guess we'll just keep
I mean,
it
I'm
discreet.
not going to just write it all down in a book. It'll be encrypted, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well,
I'll
I guess
leave some ciphers for your bookkeepers that we can keep things. It sort of turns to Elizabeth and she says, "You know, it's not quite as complicated as what we dealt with, but
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
I mean,
we've
you've
had our
got plenty of people here who could understand like that. I mean."
yeah.
She sort of leans in conspiratorially and says, "I've heard you got the Loidark here."
D
V.
oh V
The, like the.
oh D no, so it is D Lloydark, yeah.
Yeah.
The Loidark.
Yeah.
Lloydark. Oh yeah, that's Lloydark, of course. Yes, we do.
Well,
Like, is that a good or bad thing? Is the real question.
I'm still confused.
I mean, it's. She sort of like looks at you quizzically and sort of like, you're not aware of the reputation?
Well, I have like the recruitment was a bit of a quick process, so we didn't do much background checking in too much depth. But she definitely seemed to have a flair for some. Well, what would you call it?
The dramatic?
A little, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
She like leans in even further and sort of says, "So, you didn't hear this from me?"
Yeah.
That's always a good start to a sentence.
But so before Loidark was Autumn's Cascade, she had an act.
Hmm.
She well, she was a knife thrower in a traveling circus, but whilst I'm sure she was very good at that, from what I hear, she also did a little bit of under the table operating for certain individuals within the circus. Let's just say she is not unfamiliar with some of the methods that I would use.
I guess I can definitely see that.
I mean, I don't think she's quite so well versed in espionage, but don't be surprised if she gets herself into some places that she's not supposed to.
Oh well. I will admit that I did expect her to be the troublemaker out of the group, but
I mean, I'm sure
like
being a mercenary and all that, she won't go unless you ask her to, but
well, that said, she's kind of part of a rather somewhat freeform bunch, so we'll be taking on stuff that requires more creativity in a lot of cases. So, as long as she keeps out of trouble, I think we should be okay. Oh, well, I've just sent them on their first trial mission, mission, I'll call it. So we'll see how that goes. What people have to say.
Angelica nods and sort of says, well, when she gets back, I'd like to have a word.
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't think they've actually left yet, but they're preparing, so you might be able to catch her.
I think we may have some old contacts in common.
Yeah. Well,
That would probably be handy.
Good. I'm just also going to be straightforward. Considering I don't know how this all works, really, do you or do you not wish to be associated with us? I do not mind you being in our records, so to speak, but I guess that might be a bad thing for you as well, or potentially.
I mean, that depends if you think I'm going to get caught.
Well, I guess I feel like even if you get caught, I feel like we are somewhat obligated to help you out. Admittedly, I do prefer you not getting caught, of course. But yeah, for the most part, I don't. Oh yeah, I guess I don't think you should end up in too much trouble.
I'll use my discretion. But, well, seeing as Elizabeth did save my life from some sort of weird timeless prison, let's say I'll be sort of an unofficial associate of the Amber Eagle.
Oh, we can make that work. Just remember that even whilst unofficial, you if you need it, you can still call on us to, within reason, of course.
If there's anything I can think of, I'll let you know.
Yeah, good. Well, we'll be I don't know if you have anything to take care of, but we'll be heading out to to Castport soon. So if you wanted to join us, I guess that might not be. Well, I guess that's for you to decide. If you want to join us, you can hop along and go.
That's not a bad idea.
Well, we'll be heading down the coast from
Yeah, but-
Castport.
Yeah, it's often easier to slip into a place unnoticed as part of a group, not arouse too much suspicion.
Yeah.
Particularly if you've got legitimate business going elsewhere.
Well, do be aware we do grab attention by we have
Virtue of
done things
existing.
for Castport. So
That's kind of what I'd be relying on.
okay, good. Well,
Well, yeah, I suppose, they'll be too busy looking at us to look at...
Precisely.
I will leave that to your discretion. Yes, we'll be leaving soonish. Well, tomorrow or day after. We'll see how long it takes to get the supplies.
Well, I don't have much to my name other than the clothes on my back, but I'll prepare a few things and get situated.
Excellent.
If you'd like more of a show around what little we've got at the moment, I'd be happy to do so.
I've already had a tour.
Well, there you go then.
Good old Vandal.
It wasn't him, actually.
Oh,
Well, he's
you know what?
usually busy.
I guess we have more nice people.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, it turns out your little architect friend is quite talkative.
Oh, yes.
Ah.
Well, she is very excited. She designed a castle, and we're going to build it.
Honestly,
So
she gives
fair.
me a run for my She honestly gives me a run for my money.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. Oh well. We'll see you. See you when we leave, I guess. Or well, I'll see you around.
Yeah, she sort of like stands up, like straightens out her like the long pants that she's wearing, and just sort of smiles and says, "Well, I'll be getting to it."
Good.
You know, I think this is the most comfortable I've felt about a business arrangement in a long time.
Well, I'd like to think so. Well, I'd like to say it's probably not that shady, but I guess investigating shady people never goes without any shade at all. But yeah.
She still sort of like holds her finger and just goes, "Try not to think too hard about it."
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not going to. That's your job.
honestly. Well,
But yeah, she departs and prepares her things. So I guess, looking at the time and considering what I have left in my notes, if anyone else has seen that they would like to go, please go ahead and announce it. But otherwise, I think our concluding point is with the squad and Angelica setting out for Castport.
there's nothing left.
Yeah, I guess I've got nothing that I can think of that could justify a scene.
No. The best thing I can come up with is maybe have Ordon do something with Sarah and Sinani. But I don't know even what that would be even.
Wait, have who?
Gordon
The
Oh,
the half throw, because I guess I didn't specify it because I specified it or if I
Yeah,
said that before.
we talked about it in the other session.
Basically, Ordon the half throw is kind of staying behind until people trust him a little more, because I don't want to.
yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah,
No, yeah, you made brief reference to it in this
Yeah.
session.
Yeah.
You just didn't explain it.
Like, just to allow people to get a little bit more comfortable. I think
Yes.
it will be good for everybody else to be like, get used to having a half drow around. For those that actually care.
Yeah, it's primarily the elves and dwarves of the party who are a little less
Yeah.
endeared by him.
So, in hindsight, well, I'm going to say I didn't do it, but in hindsight, maybe I should have sent them along, considering how trivial, well, potentially trivial this task is. Oh well.
But yeah, no, I think Elizabeth probably just takes the time to catch up with people. There's nothing specific.
Mm-hmm.
What about the other two?
I don't think I have anything specific.
Luka?
I'm good.
Okay.
Guys, you guys are building a stage for
Yeah.
Cal.
Cal is honestly happy just standing on an empty crate.
Yeah, but like, you know, like if we're gonna commit, well, I guess for now we'll be an empty crate. We'll once we build that something proper, like
Yeah.
we'll.
I guess actually that's a good ending scene. Is we end in the mess hall of the Amber Eagle stronghold, like half the benches have been pushed like closer together than normal to accommodate the storage of some like extra timbers that are going into the construction of the next section of the keep. Everyone's sort of like crammed up together. It's even more packed than normal because there's more people in here, and everybody's just sort of like scrambling to like try and like squeeze in and get all their food eaten. It's very companionable in here. Everybody's like squished up, and yeah, I think we end with like everybody sort of eating the meal together and listening to Cal playing music as he like sort of perches on the edge of a bench.
No.
Cal. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I think the only thing people missed out on is how
Cal.
no, not Cal. How great Ordon is, the half drow. How shy and how everything overly over the top polite.
Oh, he'll have his moment.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
like he
hoping
was
they
the
all
one
have their
character
moments.
that, like, before I even knew what he could do, I was like, I need to help this boy.
I'm glad that we're all just. There's always that one character that all of us, or each of us, will have that moment with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone has at least one character where they go, protect the son.
Yes.
Or daughter, or other.
You
Yeah.
child.
Although, see, the thing about my son sounds weird, but like, see, after I like talked to them and that noticed they went on to like nail archery competition, as in like win it, and then proceeded to almost win the duels as well, the one-on-ones. That's
Damn.
like, that was insane.
And let's not forget that he first drew your attention by catching a greasy pig.
Yep.
What?
Huh.
There was one event that was just catch the greased up pig,
Oh, okay.
because apparently that is incredibly hard to do, and it's an event that I've seen several times in real life, and I'm like, I need to see. I just want this to happen.
That just makes me think of that just sounds like a much tamer version of a different game that apparently used to get played in history.
Yeah.
Sounds like a tamer version of greased goose grabbing.
Well,
Where you
Sounds-
grease a goose, hang it upside down from a tree, and the winner is the one who pulls its head off.
Ah,
Wow.
okay. I was wondering how that was any tamer, or it was less tame.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the winner's the one that pulls its head off.
But yes, yeah, no, the greasy hog was interesting because Lars attempted to do it by body slamming the pig and failed horribly.
Oh.
And then literally Auden just observed for like 3 minutes and then was like, right, I know how to catch this pig now, and just perfectly executed grabbing the pig.
Nice.
Yeah.
Monks.
It was like, just knocking legs under and away from underneath it, and then grab them, and it was glorious.
Nice.
Yeah, he didn't
There's-
so much catch the greasy hog as he like wrestling grappled it by knocking it off balance and then pinning it.
Yeah, there were
Nice.
some events that you
Nice.
really missed out on. Also, some characters.
Elizabeth is very, very sad she missed it.
There's one character called Now Yoon, which was I described it as a barbarian strategist guided by money.
Yep.
That was quite the character.
He was great.
Wow. But yeah.
Laylene, I guess Laylene I didn't get to talk to too much. Those are also the only two people that did not make it through.
Yep.
Like, the only problem I had was that the Barbarian was... He was so guided by money. I was like, if the bad guy just doubles his pay, I'm like, he's
Mm,
probably just going to turn on us. Or his
Yeah.
squad. It's like...
yeah.
Although I don't know. He was a weird guy. But great.
So what you're saying is there was someone who was more motivated by money than you were.
Wow.
Damn.
Like, if I was motivated by money, I would have taken a very different route.
Yep.
That's exactly what I mean.
No, but just in general, like, I did not, like, I don't think anybody expects do-gooding to be as profitable as it has been.
Yeah. Well, it's because no one has the long-term vision.
The long-term vision of killing an extinct species, or fought extinct
A
species,
fought
and
ex-
getting their looting their treasure hoard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dying that vision, I really needed
Also
that.
pillaging priceless ancient ruins for information.
Yeah.
Yep.
When
That
you call it
belongs
pillaging,
in a
it sounds-
museum.
It sounds so rude
Yeah.
when you call it pillaging. Reappropriating.
Wow.
No, we didn't pillage it. We recovered it. It's like archaeology.
Yeah.
Archaeology is
Archaeologists
just
don't
educated
pillage.
theft.
Basically. Well, it's educated grave robbing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And now there's some uncomfortable questions about, shit, we raided this country's tomb, 50 years ago. And now we have all this artifact. Should we give it back?
Nah.
Oh.
Finders keepers, losers.
Well, is it really Finders Keepers if it was already where it was supposed to be?
Yes. It was lost. We dug a hole and we found it.
Oh dear.
Just because they knew where it was the whole time doesn't mean that we didn't find it.
Not sure that's how that works.
Oh no. Also, that is... Oh, can't believe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let's not get into that.
no, I think that's a good spot to call it. So all that's left is to say thank you all for watching, thank you all for playing, and we'll see you all next time.
Hi.
Bye.
We're not pillagers.